So I think this changed a lot over my time in Washington, Joe, because I feel like when I first got to Washington around the turn of the century, 99, 2000, 2001, there were a lot of really good faith conversations between people with differing views to try to come to some sort of compromise around policy. And I think that that really changed over the past 25 years. I think that as we sit here a few days away from a government shutdown, I think this is a really good example to give to you. Back when I first started, we would go through what was regular order on budget bills. So that there would be a budget that was published. And then within that budget, each of the appropriations committees would come up with, they would get a number and then they would create a bill and they would hold hearings. And this would be a bill that, could be negotiated on, and then they'd pass the bill, and then you would pass appropriation bills. And that stopped happening completely. And now, basically, it all gets worked out behind the scenes without talking to people, and a few people who happen to be in the room get to have input. And who are those people? Well, oftentimes it's a lot of lobbyists because they get the ear of the people who work on the appropriations committee. And, I want to be really careful because I'm not trying to imply that any of these lobbyists are doing anything illegal or inappropriate, but it's the nature of the system now that, if you are a member of the House, you're, a representative in the House, you're fundraising like 3 days after you're sworn in for your next election. Yes, you are, because you have to raise money for yourself. You have to raise money for the party. You often have a PAC that you raise money for that helps other people in the party. And so it's only 2 years, so you're constantly raising money. So what does raising money actually look like? We have a lot of lunches or dinners that lobbyists pay $1,000 a plate or more to come and sit and have a meal with you. Now, there's no quid pro quo. That doesn't mean you're going to get your bill passed or you're going to get your number you want in appropriations. But what it does mean is that you now have an open line of communication with that office and you have access that someone who didn't give $1,000 doesn't have. And if you are a lobbyist who's trying to get your, ornament on the Christmas tree, as they call it, so the Omnibus bill now that they pass instead of passing separate appropriations bills has everything in it, and you want your ornament, you think it's easier to hide an ornament in one bill, or that you'd have to get it into a smaller bill where everyone's paying really attention to what goes into that bill. Well, it's a lot easier to sort of hide that ornament in the bill. That is this omnibus bill that people get, that's thousands of pages long, that the representatives get 2 or 3 days, maybe to look at. We've heard this, a number of times. Well, you're going to have to pass the bill to know what's in it, right? No one's reading the 1,000-page spending bill. They're relying on their staff to tell them what's in it, but it's a lot harder to fight against that as a voter than it would be if you were passing separate bills and the nursing home industry is, I need them to get more money. They're helping my mom or whatever you're trying to advocate for. It's hard to even know what's going to be in the bill to advocate for or against it. And this goes on every day. There are these fundraisers. And it's like they do retreats where you can pay $5,000 and go spend a weekend with a bunch of congressmen and congresswomen. And the amount of money spent on lobbying, was a breathtaking figure to me, $4.5 billion last year on lobbying at the federal